it crazy if I didn't hold your hand. Cause no matter where I go, I never, ever, ever go without you. I just couldn't do it, no, I wouldn't get through it. Trying to rock without you's like an engine with no fluid. I crash and I burn and I die without you.
Nicole Show, the show where we feature phenomenal women who are using their gifts, their talents, and their skills to impact the world. And today is no different. I'm so excited about our guest today. This is the show where we inspire, where we motivate, and most importantly, where we inform our viewers. So I am so excited today to have with me one of my dear sisters whom I have admired over the years as it relates to her work, her parenting. She's just a bad sister. So I want to take this opportunity to introduce to some and present to others Melinda Robertson. Melinda Robertson is an author, empowerment speaker, mother, and grandmother. Her experience as a teen mother compelled her to write her first novel, Motherhood: What You Don't Know, in an attempt to combat the teen pregnancy issue that continues to plague communities nationwide. Since the release of Motherhood: What You Don't Know in 2005, Ms. Robertson has become a highly sought-after empowerment speaker who has conducted numerous teen workshops for local churches and libraries. Motherhood: What You Don't Know has been featured in various newspapers and on 2 nationally syndicated radio shows. the Russ Parr Morning Show, and the Wendy Williams Experience in New York City, resulting in orders from as far away as Wisconsin, Georgia, Alabama, Indiana, Nebraska, Texas, and Kentucky. Ms. Robertson was the special guest speaker at the 5th Annual Teen Talk Conference held in Wilson, North Carolina in May 2006. Ms. Robertson's second novel, Fatherhood, What You Ought to Know, for teen boys, was released in April 2007. She believes properly educating boys about sex and the responsibilities they have to prevent unwanted pregnancies is essential to reducing the teen pregnancy rate. In her latest novel, Ms. Robertson addresses many issues boys all across the nation are growing up with today. For example, absent fathers, raging hormones, peer pressure, violence, death, etc. It's very real. In her latest novel, Mistaken Identity, released in December 2014, she ventures into new territory targeting a more mature audience. This fast-paced story takes you into the life of a modern-day single woman who plays by her own rules and ultimately changes the dating game. Morgan McIntyre is 33 years old and living the single life. She is financially stable, has a successful career, and travels the world, but when it comes to matters of the heart, she hasn't been happy in years. Morgan, like many single women, is looking for love in all the wrong places and eventually gets, quote, caught up in the rapture of love with the different men in her life. Uh-oh. Ms. Robertson is the founder of the Calvin Woodland Foundation, a nonprofit organization in the District of Columbia, which sponsors annual events for underprivileged children in Southeast Washington, where she grew up. She resides in Prince George's County, Maryland, with her family. Welcome to the Nicole Mason Show, Melinda Robertson. Woo-hoo-hoo! Hey, sister! How you doing? Okay, first, to take care of all the most important matter, how is Mom?
Mom is good. Thank you so much. She's doing really well, and I'm so thankful for the progress that she's made. And she's doing well.
Good.
Thanks for all the prayers.
Yes. I was so happy to see her at the release of your new book, at the book signing. She was just so happy, and she was just so excited to be there.
It's such a blessing to have her there.
Yeah. So let's get into this new book. Oh, my goodness. Let me tell you something. Listen. This book, you're going to be sitting on the edge of your seat the whole time that you are reading it. And so I want you to share as much as you feel comfortable with. Don't give away the plot. Right. Don't give away all the juicy details. But let's talk a little bit about the real life behind the scenes, issues that led to the motivation in writing your most recent novel.
Okay. Just like most authors, it's everything we write about is about us in some way, form, or fashion. So this book for me was an opportunity for me to go within and talk about some things that I know a lot of single women can identify with. We're living in a different age today, and so many single women are the head of the households, and we are independent, but we make mistakes, and we have to own them. So it was so personal for me because I want to encourage women to own who they are. As a single woman, we make choices that are not really good choices, and unfortunately, sometimes our children are affected by the choices that we've made, and we may have children out of wedlock or whatever the situation may be. And at the end of the day, Nicole, they're all God's children. You know what I mean? God makes no mistakes. And I want to encourage single women to accept who they are, own their stories, because we all have a story. We all have a story. I want them to own it. And I think it's important because for so many years, women have been, especially single women, we are always judged, and people are always have a tendency to beat us down. You know what I mean? And it could be something that a choice that we may have made 30 years ago, and it's a lot of times our family and friends are still holding that over us, and a lot of times women live in shame for something that may have happened. So I want to encourage women to, okay, this is what happened. This is not who I am. It's a part of my story. God has forgiven me. Forgive yourself and move on. Because society tends to keep beating us down. And so that's what mistaken identity is so important to me, because I want single women from all over the world to understand that this is who you are, accept this, this is no mistake, this is your story, own it.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thanks.
And I think you made that point glaringly apparent in the writing of this book, because Morgan, who is the star character of the book, you all have to get this book to read it. But you know, the way that you write, you really tap into the emotions of the woman. Not only do you tap into the emotions of the woman, but you bring it to life in such a manner that you feel her. You feel her story. You feel her angst. You feel her when she is just going through, trying to figure life out.
Yes.
And that was just very powerful to me. I've always loved your work, but I think this work is going to be a work that is going to impact lives in such a tremendous way because of its transparency and the honesty in which you have written from a single woman's perspective.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about what you are anticipating as it relates to the book. You know, I know that you have had the book signings, but are you planning on having some symposiums or some workshops for single women? Just how are you going to roll it out into and further into the community?
You know, at this time, I really can't say, Nicole. I'm just going to go wherever God leads me. You know what I mean? The opportunities that are being presented to me as they come, just kind of like see where it goes. You know what I mean? Because I just want to make a difference, and I want to change lives, and I want women to be able to stand and hold their head up today.
Yeah, that's powerful. And I know that some newspapers have written about you. You even had the opportunity to speak with Steve Harvey about the book. And I'm just really excited about it. And, you know, I know that this book touched you deeply.
Yes.
And so can we put that up, Eric, just the cover of Mistaken Identity? First of all, I love the book cover because, you know, it's intriguing. It's
Yes.
like, okay, what is it really about?
Yes.
So tell us about the graphic for the cover of it, you know, what you were thinking when you were like, okay, I like this. I want to do this.
Right. Actually, I wanted something to stand out, but I wanted to resonate because Morgan is angry. You know what I mean? So I wanted something, and I said, well, maybe a wine glass going through the mirror. And then I had a friend of mine, Kennard Goodman, is the guy that actually did my cover. And so then we went back, and I said, you know what? No, how about a shoe? She's angry, she's kicking, she's mad. Then we came up with the red button, like, bam, that's it.
Yes.
That's it right
yes.
there. You know?
And I think it's so impactful because it brings it up to date.
Yes.
Where, you know, okay, people are so intrigued with these red bottoms, but really, you know, some of the people who are wearing the red bottoms are really facing some of these issues that Morgan is facing in this book, some of the decisions that she's encountering, some of life's obstacles that she has to endure. Although she's very successful in her career, she has the ability to be self-sufficient,
Yes.
but the main thing is the main thing, and that's the thing that she can't seem to grasp.
Exactly. Because she's everything she needs to be in the boardroom, but in the bedroom, she kind of straddles the fence a little bit and just confused, you know, because her background, in which I didn't really elaborate in the story about her background, but she came from the hood, and that's all she knows. So she's used to bad boys, and that's what turns her on. So, you know, as a result of some of the decisions that she's made, and it has a lot to do with where she came from, I think a lot of women can really relate to the story.
Yeah.
Yes.
I wholeheartedly wholeheartedly agree that it's something that certainly a lot of women can relate to, but also it's really being courageous enough, as you have been, to tackle these issues.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
because that's the issue. That's the
Yes.
part that I really, really love, because you're going straight at it, head on, tackling this issue as it relates to sexuality, how women should handle themselves or not. And that, I think, too, is something that women can relate to.
Yes, and I think it's very important, because at the end of the day, we are human. We make mistakes. Some of the choices that we made, I can't say that enough, that we resent them, but we have to own them. We have to push past them. We have to accept them and move on and allow ourselves to be forgiven, even though a lot of times our family and friends are the ones that hold it over us forever. You know what I mean? I mean that the married woman that may have had a child out of wedlock, the child is 40 and they're still saying, she had that baby, the child 40. You know what I mean? Let it go. And so I just want them to understand that we are human, we make mistakes, and if the fact that we're doing it our way, I'm talking about single mothers now, because as a single mother, we aren't afforded the benefits that a married woman would have, because we did it our way. It wasn't according to the way it was intended, marriage, then the children, and so forth and so on. But we have to take responsibility for that. And I feel like as a single mother, I have 2 children that I've raised pretty much by myself, and I take responsibility for the choices that I made and but at the same time, motherhood is very important to me. I want my children to have everything I didn't have. And through God's grace, my daughter is a graduate from Syracuse University. She has her master's degree, and my son is in his 2nd year at Morgan State University. And it's just such a blessing, because although the father may or may not have been there, I know that these are my babies, and I want them to go places that I've never been. I'm not a college graduate, but I want it more for them. And I want to encourage single mothers we have to understand that we have to take responsibility. We did it our way. It wasn't according to the Bible, but these are our babies. We have a responsibility. We need to make sure that our story is not their story, so that we can break the cycle, whatever your story may have been. And I just want them to understand that walk with your head up, baby. You know what I mean? I mean, it happened, let it go. You know what I mean? This is a lot of the stuff in mistaken identity is a lot of it is my story. And I needed to go within so that I could finally let it go, because for so many years, it was so many questions about who and where and what, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm so thankful that God has allowed me this platform. So for those that didn't know, now you know. This is how it went. You know what I mean? This is from the words from me. You know what I mean? So if you don't know, now you know. And I think that it released me, and I felt so free that I finally was able to say, you know what, this is who I am. It's done. It's over. Next. You know what I mean? And through the process of mistaken identity, I have really been reinvented. I have reinvented myself. You know, I have evolved as a result of all that I've gone through these last 30 years, and I'm okay with me. That's a good place to be.
Yes. Now that's my sister. Yes. And so let's back up, because in this journey, and it's been a journey, you started with that first book, and I'll never forget that. And we have the cover of that one, that Motherhood, What You Don't Know. So let's talk a little bit about, what prompted you to write that story. And it was all of her books are excellent. They all come out with a message, and I want to encourage you to go to her website. What's the website, sis?
www.melindarobertson.com.
Okay, so go to the website. You can see the book. We have that book cover, Motherhood, What You Don't Know. Can you put that up for me? And so talk about what went into that.
Well, I was a teen mother, so I've always felt compelled to give back, and I wanted to, I wanted to reach young girls and let them know that there's so much that they don't know about motherhood. As a former teen mother, I felt who best to tell the story, because I was there and I could relate to where they are, and I felt the need because. Nicole, I was actually 19 when I had my daughter, and 19. So looking at children 12 and 13, my goodness. I mean, when I had my daughter at 19, I had no idea what I had gotten myself into. I had no idea, and I just was shell shocked. So when I look at 12 and 13-year-old girls having babies, I just know that God put that on my heart to try and make a difference, and and the response was just incredible. It has always been incredible because there's so much that they don't know. I've gotten so many emails from young girls over the years saying that they were trying to have a baby. They thought that they wanted a baby. They read this book and it's like, oh no, I do not, because I give it to them the way it is because it's so much that they don't know about motherhood. So I like to think that this book has helped in declining the teen pregnancy rate.
Yeah.
Yes, it has definitely dropped.
Yeah, well, that's awesome, and I certainly can relate to that too. I had my oldest boy at 19, and but for the support system, et cetera, that I had during that time. I don't know how I would have made it either. But one of the things that I did relate to, and this is one of the things that you tap into in Mistaken Identity, really bringing everything full circle. It's really understanding your family history, your family makeup, generational stuff, how those things play out in your own life, and I know in my own family, there were generations of teen pregnancies, and so now we also have to make a statement here because, of course, back several generations, that was sort of like the norm. The mother would be a teen and she would be married off.
Yes.
That's we're not talking about that, but we're just talking about really making choices that really just aren't profitable for you at that time. Now it turns out well. It can turn out well.
It can.
Because we have scores of stories like that.
Yes.
But really making a conscious decision to be okay with having a baby and getting on welfare because your mother was on welfare, your grandmother was on welfare, and I'm not talking about welfare to survive, so I don't want to get any Facebook notes and all that. I'm talking about welfare as a way of living.
Yes,
which is very, very different, and I can really get technical about that from a legal perspective on how welfare was designed to help the family get through when there was a whole lot of poverty, when our ancestors came out of slavery and all that, and how the system was set up to help the families. Okay, so I could go there.
Yes.
Technically.
Yes.
But people have made this a way of life.
Exactly.
Where you have one generation after the other on welfare, living in Section 8, getting food stamps. I mean, living on the system when there's so much more potential in us.
Exactly. And that's why I felt that it was so important to reiterate that we have to break the cycle. You know what I mean? Even though that was my story, I knew I didn't want that to be Melinda's story. You know what I mean? And my son, thank God, he'll be 20. He has no babies. Thank the Lord. Yes. You know what I mean? So we have to set the tone, and we have to set boundaries, and we have to let them know that this was my story, but this will not be your story. It was like they know that going to college was expected of them. You know what I mean? That was just something that they know that with my son, it's one or two things. Either you're going in the military or you're going into college. You choose. Whatever, you know what I mean? And I think that is just so important that we make sure that they understand they can do anything, but we have to believe in them so that they can believe in themselves.
Right. Yeah, and I wholeheartedly agree with that, And I remember we're sitting in the station for those who are around the world. We're right across from the famous Howard University. And I was in my second year of college when I got pregnant with my son. And I took that boy to school with me. I took him to school with me, so much so that the people and the teachers knew who he was.
That's excellent.
And when I crossed the stage and he and I were in, hand in hand, the people just roared because they knew him,
I love it.
And so you can do it. So this program today is about this dynamic author and empowerment speaker talking about her journey, and she chose to write about it to encourage you. And I want to say firsthand, this book, Motherhood, is excellent. And I want you moms who are watching, get this for your teen daughters. And we also now want to talk about the next book that she wrote, Fatherhood, and we have that book cover as well. So talk about that one.
Yes, Fatherhood, which you ought to know. I felt the need to do this because, as I said, I have a son, and there are so many things that these young brothers don't know about fatherhood that they need to know. But I took this one a little bit further because this is the story of two 15-year-old boys. One grew up without, never known his father, and the other one's father left when he was 12. And they're trying to find their way as they transition from boyhood into manhood. And this was just one of those storylines that that young boys can relate to all over the world, because I deal with drugs and sex and a murder that happens that's really close to them, and just making them understand that for every action there are consequences. There are far too many young brothers that are doing 20 to life over something foolish, like you stepping on his shoe at the club, that kind of stuff. So I'm so passionate about it because I want them to understand that they have to think before they react, because it's not a game. Too many of them are doing 20 to life for something that could have been avoided, and they have no idea of what they have gotten themselves into until they are standing before that judge, and the judge is saying, you are sentenced for life. And there's no going back. So I felt like I really wanted to write that book because, again, I have a son, and I don't ever want my son to be institutionalized or have to go into the penitentiary, ever. And I know that it's so important that we need to teach them. Education is everything. So if a lot of the guys, if they had read these young brothers that are incarcerated today, they had something like this available to them when they were teens, they may not be where they are.
Yeah, and that's powerful stuff. And you are so absolutely correct. And, being an attorney, I know all too well about this system and how it just, sends our kids up the river. I remember a couple of months back, I was sitting in the courtroom, and I was working with a judge, actually, and sitting there. And I just remember when I would hear those chains of the young men coming from in the back, getting ready to come before the judge, I started feeling so sick to my stomach and trying to figure out, why am I feeling so sick to my stomach? And I realized that not only was I sick to my stomach about what I was seeing, but it was deeper than that. It was that whole ancestral piece that was going on, that, we were brought here and changed just like that. And, these kids are finding themselves in situations, as you stated, that some of them could be avoided, and they not having to go through that system. And you are absolutely correct. They were passing out time like they were passing out candy. And every opportunity I get to speak to the young men, I do exactly that. So I am so excited about this work that you have written, and certainly want to help you to continue to get this word out to our young men, our young women, and to single women. This book, Mistaken Identity, is going to bless you real good. So listen, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Melinda's going to talk more about her work and all the things that are happening around the work. And we want you to get engaged. And so she's on Facebook, Melinda Robertson. And her website is Melinda Robertson. That's Robertson, not just Robertson, Robertson. And so stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Come on, come on. God called you to speak everything that you're wanting to see. changes. Speak the word until it changes. Speak it till it changes. Until it changes. Until it changes. Speak a word. Speak a word. Just get you a scripture. Until it changes. When you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night, just speak the word until it changes. Speak till it changes. Oh, speak it until it changes. I said speak the word of God, because it has power and it has authority. No weapon that's formed against you will be able to prosper. Just remember to speak the word. Like this one, wealth and riches are in my house, so I'm going to hold on to that word, and I'm going to speak the word. No good thing will he withhold from you if you walk upright before him. Just speak the word in your life until it changes. Just speak the word, speak the word, speak the word, speak the word, speak the word until it changes.
Okay, we are back. And so we certainly hope that you are enjoying our program today. And these are some issues that are very, very important to our community. And we all have people that have experienced and been touched by teen pregnancy, teen violence. And so this author has done a phenomenal job of bringing those issues to the fore in her two previous books, Motherhood, What You Don't Know, and Fatherhood, What You Ought to Know. So go to her website where you can see more about purchasing those books. And her latest book, Mistaken Identity, really taps into the issues that women, not just single women, but women have. And so I want to now talk about some of the other characters in the book, Sister Melinda, that you talk about, the sisters that surrounded Morgan during these ups and downs, the good times, the bad times. So talk about that.
I thought it was important to elaborate on the friendship amongst these sisters, because sisterhood is very important. Once upon a time, we had a village, Nicole. We really don't have that village anymore, you know. So I wanted to kind of expand on how important friendships are amongst us, because especially as single women, and if you have babies or whatever, you need to have that that support system. And I just wanted to kind of tap into the importance of friendship and the loyalty that that friendship should bring. And we have to understand that everybody in your circle may not necessarily be for you. They may love you, but they may not. If they don't love themselves, they can't really love you as unconditionally as you may love them. So a lot of times we have to check our circles of friends, and it's not personal. I don't think like a friend is really trying to necessarily backstab you per se, but they may not be in a good place. And if they're not in a good place where in their life, they can't be happy for your upcoming engagement or your new position or whatever that may be. And you may be one that's always happy for everybody else, but then they're not happy for you. And I just want to let women know that don't make it personal and don't take it personal. You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to love your friends from a distance. You know what I mean? And they have love for you, but they may not know how to love you. Everybody doesn't know how to love. So I want women to understand the importance of sisterhood, and you have to be a friend you have to learn how to be a friend to someone if they're a friend to you. You know what I mean? Because it's give and take. It's just like another relationship. It's good at give and take. And I think these sisters that surround Morgan, they didn't necessarily have a personal agenda, but they all had the same. They all had love for her. You know what I mean? And some of them, like a lot of people talk about Nia being, who appeared to not to really be on the up and up with her, but Nia had her own issues,
right.
So she couldn't really embrace her because she wasn't really happy with herself. So I just I thought it was important to have these women characters to show the readers the importance of being a true friend.
Yeah. And that's good, because the Bible says, to show yourself friendly if you want to be a friend. If you want to have a friend, show yourself to be friendly. And I think you really laid it out very well in the book, and you showed the different magnitudes, if you will, of sisterhood and friendship, and how they had their differences, but they always seemed to rally back around each other.
Exactly.
And I thought that was great.
Yes.
And yes, Nia, she was off the chain, but Nia, she in her own way,
yes.
She loved Morgan, and so it is with us. And I agree with you, Sister Melinda, that you have to use your wisdom and you have to use your discernment in your relationships to really discern who is for you and who is not.
Absolutely.
And when you find that out, you have to keep everything in its proper perspective. I had the great opportunity to speak as the keynote speaker at the court services last week for Women's History Month. And one of my points was just what you just said. Not every relationship with another woman is going to be positive. And I was speaking, of course, from a professional standpoint, but just from a professional and personal standpoint, same thing. But you have to be very careful not to become cynical and apply that to every relationship with other women. And you displayed that very well in this book, that not all of them are going to work out the way you want it to be. Not everybody's going to support you. Not everybody's going to stand by you when you make a mistake or when something happens, the shoe drops, as the old folk used to say. But those people that stand with you, those are the ones that you really need to embrace. But so many times, and let's talk about this, we tend to focus on the things and the people who are not supporting us.
Yes.
When there are more people who are supporting us.
Yes. But I think it really depends on where a person is in their spiritual walk with that. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, as long as God is for you, it doesn't matter who's against you. You know what I mean? And for me, I just ask God to let his light shine so that I can continue on the path that he has laid for me. I want to make a difference. I want to change lives. I want to empower women, and this is just the beginning.
Yes.
So rather than focus on who is not for me, then I'd rather encourage them to be for themselves. You know what I mean? Find out what their purpose is so that they can be the best best person that they can be, because that's all I want. I just want to be the best me that I can possibly be. I don't know how long I'm going to be here, but as long as I'm on this side, I'm going to give God the best that I've got. And when I meet him, I hope my name come up in the book.
Yes, I love that. But, and I love that scripture that says that there are more for us than there are against us. Elisha was telling his, Elisha was telling his servant Gehazi, he said to God, open up his eyes so that he might see that there are more for us than there are against us. And, that's really one of the points, too, that we want to leave with the viewers. Listen, there are more people for you than there are against you.
Yes.
Stop focusing on the negatives and focusing on who's not with you and focus on who's with you. And really, the reality is, and Dr. Jazz was with me yesterday, and she said something, and I was like, that is so tweetable. She said, listen, there won't be any competition when you have climbed your own mountain.
Wow.
And I said, you know what? I love that.
Yes.
Because that's exactly what we're doing here. Listen. I can bring on, I don't care who it is, because can't nobody beat me being me. You can't do me. You can't beat me.
Exactly.
So,
and love who you are.
Is,
Exactly. Because this is who you are.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Right.
So, and I love that about what you do. It's like, listen, I want to empower the women, and this is what I see in this book. not only were you displaying the power of sisterhood, but you gave every woman her own voice.
Yes, and that's so important. Yeah. That is so important because so many of them have been beat down and are walking in shame about something they may have did 10 or 15 years. Let it go. Let it go. Accept it. Move on from it. Be the best you that you can be. And I want them to understand the importance. You said something that's very important. You can either focus on the negative or you can focus on the positive. You know what I mean? There is some good in everything and everybody. Learn from the mistakes because every situation, or from the choices that we've made, God has given us the opportunity to decide where we're going to go from this. If you don't learn from it, you're going to repeat it. You know what I mean? And I choose to learn from it, and I encourage people to just get the message. You know, I mean, the women with the relationships and the men that, sisters, look, he's married, okay? You want to fight the marriage? You want to fight the wife? Really? Like, really? Come on now. You know, so I want them to own it, okay? It's like you knew going in that this man was married, that he's still married. You know what I mean? He leaving the way. Look, boo, okay? Right, you know, let's just be real. He's unavailable, period. Point blank. That's your thing. That's your thing. But at the same time, be accountable for it. You know what I mean? Because at some point in time, you have to take responsibility for your actions.
Well, that's a show. I'm going to have to bring you back for that one. Accountability. Being accountable for your actions, being accountable and understand. And this is one of the reasons that, you know, Steve Harvey is making a mint telling women what some of us have already told some of them.
Girl.
But you don't want to hear from us. And that's fine. No problem. You know, but when you come to a woman and for counsel, be ready to receive good counsel. Particularly when a woman may have already gone down that road and it's like, sis, that's not going to end well.
Right.
You know, and I just appreciate that, you know, somebody would be truthful and honest and transparent.
Right.
And that's what this book is. This book is all of that and then some. So I want to encourage you ladies to get this book, Mistaken Identity. And the whole thrust of it is, listen, you are not your mistakes.
Right.
That's what this is, the mistaken identity. You are not your mistakes.
Exactly.
You know, but you want to get this and go on this roller coaster ride with Morgan, because I promise you that you will see yourself in so many aspects of her life.
Yes.
Exactly. I mean, it's so real.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
we've all been there.
It's so real. And so listen, I want you to support Melinda Robertson. She is a dynamic author. The way she writes, it's the whole set and plot and all of those things that a book is supposed to have, it's got. Okay, the antagonist, the protagonist, and all these other things. And you're going to be on the edge of your seat trying to see what happens next. What is Morgan going to do next with this information? What is she going to do next with this decision? Who is she going to meet next? Okay? And so as we begin to wrap up, I want to give you an opportunity, just invite people to get this book.
Okay, Nicole, first I want to thank you again for this opportunity. This is just so awesome for you to allow me to come in and share my information and my work. I think the readers will definitely walk away being empowered and just understanding that whatever it may be, it's okay. Accept it. Move on. Love yourself as God loves you. Because he loves us unconditionally. And we all have a story. We all have a story. And I thank him so much for the opportunity to share this story so that I can try and encourage other women with a story to say, you know what? This is my mistakes are not who I am. I am a different person today. I am not who I was before. And I saw a preview of one of Steve Harvey's upcoming tours with the success thing. And one of the things that he says, you have to reinvent yourself. You have to reinvent yourself over and over and over again. And I think that is so powerful, because as long as you stay there in the past, then you're going to be there. But it's so much more for you out here to be the best you can be. If it's something that, if you have a story that you decide you want to tell, write your book. Write your book, start your business, whatever it is, you can do it. And I just want women to understand that be who you are. You know what I mean? God makes no mistakes. God makes no mistakes. And you have to own it and get to like yourself, get to know yourself, because we have a tendency to try and be who other people want us to be. You know what I mean? And for me, just knowing who I am, as long as I'm okay with me, then it doesn't matter how other people perceive me. You know, I know that I'm amongst God's children, and He loves me unconditionally, and I love Him unconditionally. So everything else is irrelevant. Focus on the positive, not the negative. We have a choice. Every situation, when you wake up in the morning, if you say it's going to be a bad day, it's going to be a bad day. So there's power in the tongue. A lot of times we speak things into existence, and we have to start understanding that it's important to uplift each other. We are always tearing each other down, and it's not okay. You know what I mean? If you don't have anything to say good about the sister, then don't say anything. Let that person be who they are as you try to find out who you are.
That's good stuff. And that's what the old folk used to say. That's what my grandmama used to say. If you don't have anything good to say, don't say anything at all.
Yes.
And so, listen, I appreciate you all joining us today. Sister Melinda has been an awesome guest. I want you to hit her up on Facebook, Melinda Robertson. Her website is melindarobertson.com. And get your copy of these books. You know, moms, dads, get those novels for your children, motherhood, fatherhood. Ladies, get mistaken identity. So thank you all so much. And thank you, sis, for being with me today.
Oh, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
I love you so much. And I was telling her during the break, I've always loved her. I've always admired her work. And just watching her with her daughter and her son through the years has been just a great journey to watch. And they have done so well, particularly my girl. Hey, Melinda, my girl. And she's doing a great job with her daughter, Journey. Hey, Journey. And so we're just so awesome. And your son, every time he comes home from school, I'm just so excited that he's completed another semester. And another semester.
Such
and another
blessing.
semester.
Such a blessing.
I know my oldest boy, I had him at 19. He is a college graduate as well. St. Augustine's University in North Carolina. My second boy, Antonio, he is finishing up his first year. So listen, it can be done. You know, I ended up marrying my baby's daddy.
Girl, that's rare. That's rare. That's rare.
I ended up marrying my baby's daddy. I love him to pieces, and he loves me. Sean Paul Mason, and so, you know, God was very gracious to me in that regard. But again, it started out, I was a single parent, although we were together, but we weren't married. And it's really about, you know, having that support system, having those standards, as you talked about earlier, and really sticking to that. So, ladies, wherever you are, whatever situation you find yourself, listen. You can make it happen. I went on to graduate from school, baby in tow, went to law school, passed the bar, all of that. Nothing was going to stop me or to deter me. Certainly not a baby.
I love it.
But that was my mindset. You know, this baby ain't gonna stop me. And so I want to encourage you. This is the place where we come to be motivated, informed, and inspired. And sis, you have inspired me today, and I know you've inspired our viewers. Just by sharing who you are, and God has been very, very gracious to you.
He is so good.
He's been very gracious. And so we want to thank you for joining us today. We do have a couple of announcements. Certainly want to remind you of Dr. Jazz's conference on next week. the 26th through the 28th. We are so thankful that she was able to join us for a few moments yesterday to chat with us, and she gave some really good nuggets. We're going to have that video up on YouTube, so if you missed it, you can go back and listen to some of those great nuggets that she gave us. Also, we're going to be having Dr. Jazz at our Super Sunday service at Greater Mount Calvary, March the 29th at 6 p.m. So be sure to come over and join us. And then I want to tell you about my dear sister, Dr. Tracy Blanchard. She is on the Word Network, and so we're inviting you to tune in to join her for prayer. Her show is Reviving the Nations Through Prayer. She has a prayer call on every Saturday morning, and we want you to tune in to her new show. It's going to start airing on this coming Friday, 3 a.m. And I forgot to tell you yesterday, because somebody may have been saying 3 a.m. Oh, my goodness. Listen, technology has come to so far. You can TiVo, DVR, whatever else you have that you can record it and look at the program. It's going to bless you. And then lastly, I want to invite those of you who are in the Tidewater area to Pastor Lisa Vini's conference. That's going to be the 27th and 28th. Dr. Medina Pullins is going to be a speaker, Evangelist Aziza Morrison, with special musical guest Leandria Johnson, whom I love. Now, somebody's going to have to probably pick me up when she sings that song, Jesus. I love that, okay? And so thank you all so much for joining us today. If you would like to join me for prayer tomorrow morning, the number is 712-775-7000. The passcode is 615-323#, and you can find that information on my Facebook page. Join us tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. I give a short word that'll certainly bless you, and then we go into prayer so that we can get through the middle of the week, and then we come back on Friday so that we can end our work week going into the weekend and get ready for our worship service. So thank you so much, Sister Melinda Robertson. Woohoo!
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, and thank you all so much for joining the Nicole Mason Show. Listen, tune in next week, because you never know who you're going to meet on the Nicole Mason Show. Have a great afternoon. God bless you. Peace.
This is not the time to get distracted, and this is not the time to go off course. This is not the time to lose your focus. Got a work to do for the Lord, and you cannot